Okay, is everybody from the media ready? All right, thank you first for coming today as I give you an update on the Noah Smith homicide. With me today is Noah's father, Keith Smith, and his family and his brother. Crime Stoppers of Northeast Florida, Board Vice President of Communications and President-elect Spencer Hathaway, Sheriff's Commander Jennifer Nowicki, Major Case Sergeant George Haristokopoulos, and Major Case Detectives Daryl Butler and Adam Barkowski, along with Bunnell Police Chief David Brannon and some of our county commissioners. Today we are announcing the reward in the Noah Smith murder has been increased to $15,000 for tips and information leading to the arrest of the person who killed Noah Smith. This was made possible thanks to the assistance of Crime Stoppers of Northeast Florida and the Florida Sheriff Association Criminal Apprehension Assistance Program. To be eligible for this reward, you must call or text tips through Crime Stoppers at the numbers or the app that you see behind me on the billboard. As you know, Noah Smith was a 16-year-old Palm Coast student murdered in the streets of Bunnell on January 12th. The initial investigation was conducted by the Bunnell Police Department and later taken over by the Sheriff's Office Major Case Unit. Since that time, our team has spent over 900 investigative hours, served 18 search warrants, and 11 subpoenas. We are working closely with the State Attorney's Office, the FDLE Lab, and DNA International. Every day we get closer to catching the killer as forensic information and data comes in from these search warrants and subpoenas. To help solve this case, Crime Stoppers of Northeast Florida has installed this billboard and raised the reward. Now it's time for anyone that has information to do their part. We know who did it, and so do you. But we need your information to make a rock-solid case for the state attorney. Please call in your tips to Crime Stoppers at 888-277-TIPS or call our tips line at 386-313-4911 or email your information to tips, T-I-P-S, at flaglersheriff.com. But remember, to be eligible for the reward, you must send your information or tip through Crime Stoppers at the numbers or the app behind me. At this time, I'm also announcing that we have made an arrest that we know is connected to this case. 18-year-old Terrell Sampson of Bunnell has been arrested for possession of a firearm by a delinquent. He is being held on a $100,000 bond at the Sheriff Perry Hall Inmate Detention Facility. The FCSO Major Case, working with the State Attorney's Office, obtained a warrant for his arrest. Yesterday, the Florida Highway Patrol, working in conjunction with the Sheriff's Office, located Sampson and he was taken into custody. And I'd like to thank Trooper Capella for his help. Terrell Sampson, this young man has already wasted his future and will probably spend most of his life in a state prison if he's not killed on the streets if he doesn't change his behavior. Sampson already has 7 felony convictions that include aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, 2 domestic violence cases, carrying a concealed weapon, possession of cocaine and marijuana, possession of cocaine with intent to sell, and resisting an officer. And he's only 18 years old. Now I want to inform you that this is an arrest on an unrelated charge. The Noah Smith homicide investigation is active and ongoing. We also believe that the murder of Kimarian Hall is directly linked to this case. There are rumors of pressure being made to keep potential witnesses silent in both cases. In many cases, the people that have information or related relatives or distant relatives or have friendships. We want justice for Noah and Kimarian families just like you do. We ask the family to speak up, tell us what you know, and help us bring these investigations to a close. And I was just informed that the father's brother would like to say something, so I will ask him to come forward.
I just want to bring awareness to whoever knows anything, if you know anything that happened with Noah or with who did what. Like, we don't care about street codes, we don't care about who you're scared of, just give us some information. If you got videos, send it in. We want to find out who did this to my nephew. Like, he was a great child, he had a great future ahead of him, and we just want to have some peace. If you could just give us some peace by giving us more information so we can, we're just praying that you guys just send information. That's all we want. We want our city to thrive from this, not to just be in turmoil from this. We want to build off Noah's name, knowing that he was a great child, and the person that did this to him, they are doing what they're supposed to be doing by turning themselves. You can even turn yourself in. If you got to have your family turn you in, it's okay with us. Get the money. You probably need it. We just want justice for Noah. That's all we want.
Thank you. Crime Stoppers, would you like to?
Crime Stoppers is extremely proud to present this opportunity for folks to come forward. We partnered with the Florida Sheriff's Association to have contributed to the $15,000 reward, which is one of the highest rewards that Crime Stoppers ever offered locally. It's because of the strength of our law enforcement community that we're able to do that and the partnerships that we have. And so this is obviously a devastating crime that's affected this community. It's affected all of us. Please come forward. Please contact Crime Stoppers directly. The number's on the billboard. You can use the P3 app. You can text it in. You will remain anonymous, and Crime Stoppers is also proud of the fact that you'll get a reward even if it's an arrest. It doesn't have to wait for conviction. So please come forward. Please give us the information. Let's help this family bring justice for their son and their loved one.
As I mentioned, we have been working closely with the 7th Circuit State Attorney, R.J. Larizzo. He's here. I'd like to ask him to come forward and make any comments.
You know, it's just a damn shame that we've got a billboard behind us and we're asking folks to come forward. A billboard with the photo of a 16-year-old man, young man, teenager, that has been murdered by gun violence. And just within the last couple of weeks, that makes the second 16-year-old victim. That's a damn shame as well. And it's a shame that we have trouble getting folks to come forward. You know, a lot of people speculate about why. Is it because folks are afraid? Is it because folks don't trust law enforcement? Is it because folks just don't know anything? Maybe it's a combination of all that, but we have to do better. Law enforcement, the state attorney's office, and the folks in the community, we've got to find a way to stop this violence with kids. How many families are we going to have to talk to? How many times is this going to have to happen before we can find a way to get into these communities and stop this violence from happening? That's my mission and my goal, to work with Sheriff Staley. I know he's committed to that. I appreciate y'all being here too, because you help us get the word out. And it's my sincere hope and wish that someone will come forward and help us to make justice happen in this case. Justice is accountability. We have to hold the folks accountable that commit these crimes, but we can't do it unless we can prove it. So we need your help, we need the community's help, and I'm begging you, please help us solve these crimes.
This is Keith, the father of Noah Smith, Keith Smith.
I wasn't gonna say nothing, But it ain't just the kids. It's these parents too. Because that would have been my son, I'll make him man up to that. So this ain't just for the guys that did it. Their parents need to hear this too, man. Because I'm telling you straight up, that would have been my son, go to jail, boy. Handle that, especially for an innocent kid. So don't everybody just look at the kids, look at these parents too, man. And I'm raising mine right.
Next, I would ask to Chief Brandon from Bunnell, if there's anything you would like to add, Chief.
I just want to reassure the Bunnell community that we are working in lockstep partnership with the Sheriff's Office to bring this and the other cases that we've dealt with here recently to a quick resolution. But I implore you to please speak with our officers. We're out here to help you. We want to make this community as safe as possible. I know the sheriff has invested all of his resources to bring this to a successful conclusion. We want justice for our victims and their families. And I just ask you to reach out to our officers with any information that you might have. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. So at this point, I'll open it to any questions. Just remember, this is an active investigation, so there will be limitations on what I can say at this time so we don't hamper the investigation.
Sheriff, are you going to go after the people that are possibly hiding evidence, protecting, hiding some stuff? And it sounds like there's more people involved. Are we going to hold those people accountable if you have to?
So we will look at that evidence, but what we really want right now is for them to come forward and tell us what they know, if they have evidence that they've hidden, to provide that. And then we'll determine at that point whether or not we should pursue anything with the state attorney's office. But the most important part for us is we need the information. We need any evidence that may have been hidden. Like I mentioned, every day we're getting closer and closer on solving this case. A lot of subpoenas were done, and that data is coming in, and it's being analyzed either by FDLE, the Sheriff's Office, or DNA International, which is a company that we use. And so that we're getting closer and closer, but it would be a lot easier if the community would cooperate and support.
Is there a motive behind these shootings?
Well, I think I previously said that on Noah Smith's case, it was probably he was an unintended victim from everything we know at this time. And we're still investigating Camarion Hall on what's going on there. That just happened a few days ago, as you know. So, you know, again, they're active investigations. Anything can change as the evidence comes in, but that's what it looks like at this point.
You said there was a link between them, though? I think you mentioned there was a link. Can you elaborate on that?
So I can't go into the exact linkage, but we do believe there is a link between them. And certainly the intertwining of witnesses and suspects, whether it's family or related family, cousins, you name it. South Bunnell is a very small community and very interrelated. And so our detectives are going through that now.
Sheriff, I apologize if you said this, but Mr. Sampson, he's connected to this and arrested on something unrelated to murder, but related to the case. Is he your suspect in the homicide of Noah Smith?
So we're not identifying anybody or persons of interest at this time.
How did you get that high a bond on him? It doesn't match up with the charge.
Well, I know our detectives worked with the state attorney's office, and we went to the judge. And sometimes we luck out and get really high bonds in this county. Most of the time we don't, but in this case we did.
Are you able to say how he's connected to the homicide?
No, not at this time.
Sheriff, it's such a small town, a lot of violent crime, it's such a small little area. What can be done? Is there lack of after-school programs? Is there lack of things that these kids need to be doing? What can be done to curb this? I mean, especially here, it's such a small little town.
So I'll bring up the chief from Bunnell too to help on this question, but I will tell you, we need parents to be parents. We need them to be engaged in their children's lives and correct their bad behavior, know where they are at 10 o'clock at night throughout the entire night. And the other thing that we can do is all residents need to keep their car doors locked. I will tell you that, you know, kids can't legally buy guns. And so a lot of guns get stolen from unlocked cars. And so if they can't get the guns, then we can't have this violence. And so that's, in my opinion, that's what really needs to be done. We're engaged in this community. I know the Bunnell Police Department is engaged in the community. We do programs at Carver Gym, but it takes the community and most importantly the parents to be the sheriff in their home. Chief, would you like to add anything?
Yes, sir. I just want to echo the sheriff's sentiments that it does take the entire community to work together to keep kids safe, to provide programs that maybe some of us enjoyed when we were kids, after school programs, homework club, softball, baseball, basketball, things that are going to keep our kids and our youth occupied. But we also need to invest more in our law enforcement resources as well. For years, sometimes that hasn't always been the case here, and we need more police presence so that we can build those community relationships and partnerships with the folks in the community. And I think through some of these strategies, us working together, we're going to get a handle on what's happening here in Bunnell.
Chief, I noticed just a little while ago, 2 hours ago, workers were working on your surveillance cameras that were turned off many years ago, turning them back on the streets.
We're evaluating our surveillance cameras in that area and looking to replace them.
Sheriff, you had said earlier that Noah Smith was an unintended victim. What about Camarion? Do you know any more at this point? I know it's more recent.
Yeah, so that's still part of the active investigation, and we really don't know the answer to that yet. There's lots of rumors in the community, and so we're trying to sift through what's rumor and what's factual. Everything we know about Noah, he was a great student at Flagler Palm Coast High School, was just a great all-around kid, probably in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Are you able to say how Noah's murder is connected to Mario Hall's?
I'm not going to go into details on that, but I will tell you that some of the players involved seem to be involved, or witnesses could be witnesses in both cases. So that's where we believe there is a linkage.
Is this gang related?
So obviously that's still being part of the investigation. You know, there's a definition under Florida law for what a gang member is. I think I would call this, at least right now, more of a relationship that's occurring. It could very well end up that there's some gang ties to it, but we're not there yet in either case. Any other questions? Okay.
Thanks so much.
Like to say anything else? So, the detectives, the major case detectives, Sergeant Haristokopoulos is the sergeant in there, and the two lead detectives are Adam Bakarski and Daryl Butler. And, you know, they've worked on this around the clock. And I'm confident with our team and certainly with the community's assistance, that between community assistance, the detectives that we have, the forensics and the data dumps that we're getting that are being analyzed, we will solve this case. The question is how long it will take. And a lot of that could be dependent, it'd be certainly a lot faster if the community will come forward. You've got $15,000 now. We just need that one piece of evidence, and that's what we're asking for. So thank you so much for coming today.